I guess people do like the gauntlets in the.
I know, but the spear just does so much better in my opinion. But we are gonna find out. Sgrape has got a plan. He knows what he's doing. He's obviously thought it through, and we're gonna see how this plays out against the Chakrams from Fry.
And Fry is a player that is no stranger to being willing to make the game go nice and slow. You know? No stranger to that. I always say, you and me, we casted XJ Cool J versus FryDasOle at like whatever BCX that was. And
I remember.
The paint on the wall was drying. You know, I loved it, but also, I'm just saying he can bring down the pace like that. So we'll see if he tries to do that against Sgrape if he finds himself back against the wall. I think one of the trickiest things about FryDasOle as a player is that not only is he good at switching up the tempo, he also just picks really funky options is the best way that I could call it. That if you're not ready for it, will just catch you by surprise, and he uses those tactics to go ahead and secure himself often in the set victory, right? So, you know, he's playing kind of normal, maybe does a weird thing every now and then you get to game 5 and suddenly it's like, what was that option? Well, too late, you've lost.
Yeah, you haven't had time to figure it out. Doesn't show his whole hand until the end of the set, pulls out all the stops, and we see him getting some good pieces up here in the sky against Sgrape, but the option's running out. Sgrape taking the low route. Can he finally lay back up? Fry did not contest it as Sgrape literally landed on the ground right in front of him.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, Fry fishing for 1 or 2 more recoveries. Sgrape responding with a nice little, we'll call it a tech chase there, reacting to that dodge from Fry with recovery on the gauntlets. And now we get to see the scythe a little bit. FryDasOle also throwing away that sword. He's going to camp the platform to the Chakram spawn, which they do on the right side. And now Sgrape here. Going to go ahead and see if he can get an opener with this scythe. I mean, Fry waiting in the corner, probably going to come down with a falling side air. Oh, goes for the side sig, and, you know, hold on, he's trying to cook. All right, he wasn't cooking, really.
No.
He tried to cook. He kind of put too much oil on the pot.
a little bit. Boiled over just a little bit on him, but, you know, we're still pretty even here. Fry has those split chakrams. Sgrape going to be on. Oh, no, he burned the dodge. Oh, no. Fry taking full advantage of seat, using that soft platform, coming down, resetting the options, and taking him right back in the air. That was 47 hits unanswered by Fry, unanswered by Sgrape there, and continuing to just put the aerial assault on him. Sgrape finally slowing things down a little bit. We see the sweat beads coming out, but Fry with another recovery.
Yeah, Sgrape at this point has kind of been watching a cutscene for a moment here. You know, definitely trying to press start and click skip, but he's just having a tough time, dude. I mean, sometimes like some games like really do just lock you into the cutscene where like you're pressing start, but then you realize it's like, oh, this is like you got to hold down square to skip kind of thing, and not just like a press start and skip. And so he got caught in the cutscene, and you know now he's on to his next stock, and now the cutscene is over. So we'll see how he's able to respond this time around.
That was a beautiful picture you painted there, Flavio.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just like the stained glass of the Fortress of Lions. You know, I really it's artistry at its finest.
Full circle. Oh my goodness! What a philosopher and poet that Flambeau is here at the desk.
They used to call me Edgar Allan back in the day.
It's a privilege. Thank you, sir. All right, back into this game. Sgrape and FryDas. Game number 1. Fry having that a little bit of advantage here is continuing to pile it up.
Oh, he's getting chopped up. Yep, minced.
Minced.
What a
minced Sgrape.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, the tiniest little bits of Sgrape you've ever seen, man. Oh, Sgrape trying to close it here. Ground pound. No, you going for a recovery. Why, brother? That one was guaranteed, I promise. Well, he's trying to fight back.
Nice.
There we go. The cider is going to work. FryDasOle, you know, coming down to his final stock here. I want to see some close games of Brawlhalla. You know, Sgrape definitely trying to bring things back. And that's going to be a nice start. Gets the recovery on the Fry. Fry recovers high, waiting. There's a spawn. Sgrape going to starve him. But I was telling you, like, Fry will slow things down. It all depends on, like, starving him doesn't matter if you're not hitting him in between the weapon spawns. But luckily, Sgrape gets more time because FryDasOle had a sword queued up. But here we go. Now the Chakrams are here. And he got him to yellow. You know, it's better than nothing. But I know Sgrape wanted more out of that starve. And so now it's like, all right, well, you're going to camp the corner. You can try to reverse nair him. No, he goes in and punishes FryDasOle for, I think, trying to end Sig. It looked like he got caught in the startup of there. But, I mean, hold on. Sgrape is slowly bringing this back. Fry may be biding his time a little bit too much here.
Yeah, although very close to knockout range, especially if Fry can go ahead and fuse these back together and get a nice Sair. Or a nice side light, or even a Sair will probably have the momentum to get it done off the fuse. But oh no, we're just gonna rip a side sig in the completely wrong direction. Sgrape though, not much of a punish off of it.
Yeah, Sgrape just kind of trying to weave around here. Look at this movement. He's gonna get caught. It's not gonna be enough. One more recovery from Fry, and that will be the game effectively.
Well, maybe.
Oh,
that's where he hits it from. Okay,
yeah, he got caught on the platform there, and that's gonna spell his doom. FryDasOle taking game 1, and you can tell Sgrape's just like trying to figure this out, bro. He's like, what am I gonna do? Do you think he swaps over to the Mirage?
You got to. But I think he's probably tired after that game number 1. I mean, that, like you said, Fry was able to drag that out for absolutely forever. In Mirage, though, we are going to see it come in, and I think he's going to have a lot more success off of that spear than he's going to have off those gauntlets.
Yeah, really what I think it comes down to at the end of the day is that I feel like a lot of players' patience gets tested when going up against this weapon, and you just have to play a character where at any point you can just full send it, bro. You just
full send it.
just full send it, bro. If you play Mirage, you just press that SIG button. When he comes light orange, you might just get the stock. All right.
I mean, it really does come down to a stamina issue, at least for me. Like, I do really well that first stock and a half, and then I just start to get lazy.
Yeah.
Pardon me. It is very hard to just keep that mindset that entire game against this weapon. It wears you out very, very quickly.
Oh. We'll see, if the Mirage makes a difference here. I mean, FryDasOle coming in with those chakrams, trying to push Sgrape to the corner. Sgrape swinging back here, tries to go for the side light. That's not going to connect, but, I mean, the damage count is fairly even across the board.
Yeah, Sgrape's starting to find his momentum here. But Fry, there we go, 3-piece missing. Okay, coming back gonna fall with the fall down. Sair back down the stage, gonna send Sgrape back out, but he misses off the D-Sig, and Sgrape did a good job of being able to punish that. Very hard signature to punish.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just definitely weaved around it and put his hitboxes in the right spot. And now Sgrape, still going toe-to-toe, but Fry kind of with the easier KO setups, right? He lets a Hail Mary Sig go every now and again, but that should be the stock. I don't think he touched it to get that platform. He did, and that makes it a little bit easier, really a lot bit easier for Fry to get back here. And Sgrape now just fishing for that final blow. Down Sig. Oh, I can't believe that down light caught. It was so late, It was so late, and he was so high. I was like, but he fell down into it just in the nick of time. But still, I mean, Fry, he's throwing out D-lights now. They both just want these first stocks gone. He burned dodge here. It should be a side air. No, he tries to go for a gravity cancel side light. All Sgrape had to do there was just do a falling side air. He would have gotten Fry, and that would have been the stock. Instead, he's the one losing the stock first.
Fry definitely going to try and get that extra credit here, especially how close things were in game number 1. Okay, recovery. Oh, no. Okay, but he's a sweat beads. Sgrape could not get the reversal up there. That would have been a very, very nice punish.
Yeah, this is tough. Playing from behind against this weapon is just, it's draining, right?
Yeah.
And you see Sgrape struggling to get this final blow. Neither of these weapons particularly have the most bang for their buck when it comes to just like their raw kit. Like sure, a spear side air will work here, but he ends up getting the stock with unarmed, right? That's absolute worst case scenario you want when you pick Mirage into this matchup, right? You want to be getting those stocks earlier. You want to be getting, those quick hits into hopefully an exploding stock later on. Yeah. But if you're going all the way to the deep, deep red, it's like you don't want to be getting your opponents at barbecue, dude. It's one thing if you're playing Taros, right? Yeah. Because it's just like, all right, eventually the same moves will just knock out. But with Spear and Scythe, it takes so much longer.
Oh, Fry whiffing completely with that Sair, and the quick punish coming in from Sgrape. Super close game here as we come down to the bottom of their second stocks. Fry, nice patience, finding that second recovery. Side Sig gonna let it loose, but not able to get a punish off that either from Sgrape. That is unfortunate. Fry fishing in the air, Sgrape getting underneath, did not pull the trigger off that recovery. Ooh, sent him out with that side light, weapon throw out.
Okay.
Bro, what an option.
Just like that. I mean, Sgrape falling by the wayside here. FryDasOle once again making it look pretty strenuous is kind of the best word I have for it. Sgrape, isn't getting these answers. The Scythe isn't really doing him any favors. He hasn't been able to get any like quick cheesy KOs with it. He's been able to get a punish here and there, but like, is that worth it? There we go. Sometimes you gotta be able to send it, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Just go full caveman. Just press the button. Full Nash. Full Nash. All right, let's see. Comes down with the Nair. And it's working out here. FryDasOle, you know, letting Sgrape bring the damage back to even, actually even at a slight deficit now.
Ooh.
Scoops him up with the down air. And they are gaming.
They absolutely are. This is definitely a nail biter of a game here. This is only game 2 of the set, Flambeau, and we're already seeing this much stress from both these players. You know, the respect that they're showing each other, the spacing, the tempo being raised and lowered. It's just very, very interesting dynamic to see unfold between as a sidelight that is going to go ahead and pull Sgrape back in, missing on the Nair, coming back down the stage. He expected Fry to come up underneath him.
Oh, wow. If Sgrape charged that a little bit longer, that might have worked. But, you know, he's looking for those final blows now. He understands that down sig is a very strong win con for him. Can also let that side sig rip again if he feels like it. Even go for an end sig read if he really wants to. But he needs to get back down. And he throws the spear away. I don't think he intended to do that. I think he wanted to, like, throw it into the floor and pick it up and dash or something. But now has no weapon. Gets caught by the recovery. And he has no dodge. Should be back now. He used it to get down. Wanted to dodge from Fry. Fry doesn't bite. But a falling side air from Sgrape is going to be clutch enough to get Fry. I have to give it up to Fry there, though, for being brave enough not to press the dodge button after getting hit by that side light.
Yeah, that's true.
Lord knows I would have. You know, but if he goes for immediate D-light after, you know, but Fry's not worried. He read him.
Forget pushing. I've been mashing it, bro.
Yeah,
give me my dodge. Give me my dodge.
I mean, at this point, you can just hold the button down now. Remember, that went through. That hit live.
I have not used it one time.
I say. old habits die hard, though.
Yeah, for sure. You dodge a certain way for 6 years, you know. I mean, it's kind of hard to change the way you dodge.
Let's see. Sgrape. But for the weapon throw, it's not going to work. The Nair, not going to hit as well.
Oh, yeah, he definitely wants that spear. And to keep Fry off a weapon all at the same time. If he could extend this and get an early Gimp stock against Fry right here, but no, Fry's going to get the chakram in hand. But the Sayer is going to send Fry off his mark. Is Sgrape settling down here on the stage at neutral. And, ooh, another recovery going to go ahead and pick off Fry. And we're seeing a very good start from Sgrape here as he seems to be figured out the rhythm.
Ooh, okay, I like this. Wow, man, the hitbox on that recovery really doing the Lord's work there for FryDasOle. That's
crazy.
Trying to, you know, bait something here, does a reverse end-sig to see if maybe he can bait FryDasOle to come onto the stage. FryDasOle just so content with taking his time, refreshing his options on that platform like we've seen him do so many times before. You can see Sgrape trying to get the turnaround there with a gravity cancel down-sig, just not the right timing, and now we're back in this juggle state position that we've seen so often throughout the day already because of kind of just where the chakrams put you naturally.
Ooh.
Okay.
The Sayer going to bounce Fry off the stage again. And Sgrape going to go ahead and carve out a very early lead here. He is in knockout range, but Fry with the sword in hand, and Sgrape being able to have the advantage in the air so far, getting good extra credit off the stock. Punish on Fry again. Oh. Fry cannot find anything with that sword.
Yeah, this advantage state from Sgrape has been immaculate for the past sequence here. The D-like ground pound's not enough. You should be able to tap it in and does a down sig instead, which actually gives Fry the chance to touch the stage. Had he gone for a gravity cancel D-like ground pound, that would have been a stock, but it's fine because he goes and picks up a spear and gets a D-light recovery. And now, just like that, FryDasOle is looking pretty rough, brother.
Yeah, the beatdown is coming against Fry this game for sure. He's going to have a hard time coming back from this. I don't think it's going to be a 3-stock by any stretch of the imagination, but Fry is definitely way down as Sgrape is still getting bonus damage off that first stock as Fry is now in yellow looking to get into orange. Sgrape with the spear in the hand.
Wow.
Finally, Fry getting that first stock off there and something going in his direction.
Yeah, a little too late, though. At this point, you know, you got half a stock left, and, you know, there's 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. You know, anything is possible. Chakrams are a pretty strong weapon, so don't want to count them out just yet. But Sgrape, I mean, just the way he's been getting these punishes
nice neutral
has
sig.
been so explosive, you know? I mean, sure, Fry gets a little end sig there, but he's not able to convert that into a stock, right? And so as long as, if you're Sgrape here, you just have to make sure you don't get too comfortable with your lead, right? Because if you're thinking, oh, you know, I got so much of a lead, I can't lose now, against a weapon like Chakrams, you will very quickly be taught how you can lose now.
That is such a good point, actually. You cannot get comfortable in this situation. It is still Fry, it is still Priya, but that recovery gets it done every day of the week. 534 damage against 306. Fry got dog walked that game, bro.
Yeah, no, that one was tough. I mean, especially like, there was just one sequence, I think, on that second stock where Sgrape was just hunting down FryDasOle with that scythe. Got like 4 hits in a row, ran at him, looked him in the face, backed up, started beating on him again. I was like, dang, like, all right, like this punish game right now is looking pretty brutal. And, you know, Fry tried to bring it back, but you can probably even see it there on the graph there, right, where it's like, oh, there's a...
That first stock from Fry was really clean. You know, I mean, he had that advantage, and then it just started to fall apart, all right, after that. Man, great performance from Sgrape. Good usage of both of his weapons. I like that breakdown. 189 on the scythe. I think it was 221 on the spear. Great usage of the entirety of Mirage's kit, and it worked out for him really well.
And now just like this, Fry gets the bad roll on the first weapon, but does manage to find a pair of Chakrams. So now we're playing kind of the same game all over again. Sgrape needs one more to go into the winners finals to be fighting Godly. On the other side of things here, though, I mean, FryDasOle wants that exact same opportunity, but he has to win 2 games in a row here. These Chakrams have proven to be difficult for people to deal with. We were talking about before that the last game Fry was in went to game 5, went to a kind of a last hit, last stock scenario. Sgrape might just be enough of a cut above where, I mean, look at that 2 on the mark signatures back to back, right? Like, sometimes you could be able to full send it, but
just kind of full send it,
you just got full send it, bro. I'm telling you. You got to assert dominance. All right, here we go.
And so far, so good. He does have that lead that we saw in the last game. Fry getting a little more success in the air, though, here off these Chakrams. Oh, the pogo. That's a bad spot. Nice dodge from Fry, but he burned it, bro. That's going to go ahead and finish off grab to cancel D-Light into ground pound from Sgrape, and he is now 2 stocks away from sending Fry down the elimination side.
Yeah, and I think the toughest part about this, too, is, like, I'm watching Fry try to deal with this, and it doesn't look like he's trying anything new. You know, it looks like what he was doing before isn't working. Sgrape has adapted to it, and now I guess his answer is he played sword for like 2 seconds, and he's going to chop over to the Chakrams and kind of like look at him, right? You've got the side sig there. Sgrape's going to go ahead, get back onto stage, wait for the weapon to spawn, you know, push Fry to the corner, and then go ahead, grab that scythe. And he's doing such a good job of punishing Chakram, which isn't something that we see often. He does have the fused version in hand right now, though, so you know Fry's looking to try to get the stock soon.
And there it is.
There, right? The fused recovery really does hit that hard.
Getting the he doesn't have to sit there and hit those. When you're on split, you have to hit them over and over and over again.
Probably like 4 or 5 of them. Right. Like the difference is night and day.
That fused recovery is much slower, but it does put out a whole lot more force. As we see Sgrape, though, completely fresh on that second stock. Gonna send Fry maybe down to his final right here if he can find a good edge guard. Ooh, that was nice, getting himself plenty of position. There was nothing Fry could do to come back up on stage with some damage going in Sgrape's direction. Oh no.
Nice turnaround from Sgrape there, saying like, I can get hit by literally all of this, dude. If it's not recovery, especially if it's not fused recovery, right? Like, it's like, all right, I'm good. I just need to not give you my dodge for free.
Exactly.
And just swing the spear around, and then you can get a turnaround stock just like that. So now Sgrape 1 stock away from going to the winners finals here.
Ooh, against a Godly at that. Okay, being very patient here. He knows what's at stake. Does not want Fry to get underneath it, because now those recoveries, when you start getting up in the air, are getting in a position where they could start to get him into knockout range. Sayre's going to send Sgrape off stage. The dare, another dare into Sayre. Final stock. This is still doable for Fry to be able to push this to a game number 5. Can he get it done here?
Yeah, these Chakrams definitely can make it happen, especially with the patience he has here. There's going to be a lot of damage, but it's not going to lead to the stock, right? That's what we were talking about before. You need a very specific setup and to hit with recovery as your final move to get that knockout off the top. Chase Star's Nair is a little bit too hard to get a knockout with, but Mirage does have low defense, so he's going to want to be careful. I mean, so much damage has already been racked up on a FryDasOle, but he's equalized it more or less at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting into position, but difference is Fry is almost a knockout range, and Sgrape is not. Especially going up against these chakrams, takes so much more these light attack hits to be able to get it done. Sgrape being very patient and missing on the Sarah, though, and Fry is going to go ahead and get the punish off of it. Sgrape finds his feet back on stage, and what can he do? Whiffing on the sidelight. Fry's right there to punish it with the dare. Swapping back over to Scythe. Is this going to work out for him? I don't know. It makes me a little nervous, Flambeau.
I think the down sig should be coming soon here. If you're Sgrape, you have the ability to just full send it if you make the choice here. Gets a retaliatory down air, tries to go for the ground pound off the corner. It's not going to work. Fry can swap to the fuse version here if he wants to get the knockout with the outright recovery, but he's staying. Brings it in, goes for a read, and oh, that's almost enough. The split. Sgrape just needs one hit, gets caught again by the recovery, and the low defense from Mirage lets FryDasOle climb his way back into this one and force the game 5. I think ultimately I'm looking at this last stock scenario in game 4, and I'm like, Sgrape never pressed a button that would knock out FryDasOle. Yeah. You can't. You had started with a pretty healthy amount of health there, and I was like, maybe we'll see a sig. At least 1 or 2. I mean, you got that down sig. That's so good. At least throw it around. Make sure that, like, Fry's, looking for it, because that's the easy way to win the set. And then, if he gets hit by it, cool. If he doesn't, at least now it's another thing he has to keep on his mental stack as you start to fish for other knockout options. But
it's almost like he got so worried in the end of that game of finding the knockout, he forgot to find the knockout. He was so worried about not getting hit and be like, okay, I can do it right here. Got to stay out of the way of this, do that. Like you said, he forgot to push the button.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he ran out of time before he could get anything done. I did not like the swap there at the end. He had the spear. He's been able to find so much success off of it. And then he throws it away for the Scythe, trying to fish out the knockout against chakrams. And it did not work out in his favor at all. And we're seeing it again. But he's just going to starve out Fry completely and absolutely.
Oh, I like the attempt there, trying to read a jump to get it with the ground pound. But yeah, no, I have to agree with you. I mean, there's a difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. And we saw Sgrape play not to lose in game 4 as opposed to play to win. Kind of came back to bite him at the end of it. But this time around, he can't make the same mistake. Look at that patience. Just times the spot dodge perfectly and throws at that down sig that we were just talking about. So potent of the KO option and a get off me tool.
Yeah, and then we see it again, that dare. Good off me tool. Not being able to get up underneath for that recovery. Okay, Sgrape. We're seeing him giving the distance, giving the spacing. Ooh, got in the way of that split Sayer.
Whoa, that was weird.
That was a great read from Fry, being able to be in the right place at the right time.
Wow.
Oh, he primed it. He got it primed, though, so he's going to come back in. He's going to be able to drop in on those chakrams and go straight back to work, try and get the stock off of Sgrape. So far, not being able to find that knockout option as Sgrape is being allowed to get ever the slightest extra credit. Oh, I start getting excited when I stop losing the ability to talk.
Yeah. It's like things are really heating up.
Right.
As Sgrape once again with the lead here, but for how much longer here? Nice little conversion from Fry. Tries to convert into the recovery, but it's not going to find the mark. You can see nice little biding of the time there with that weapon throw to try to get onto the stage. But Fry, even more patient, is going to go ahead and prime up yet another chakram so that when he does ultimately get disarmed or lose his stock, he has another one to work with.
Oh my goodness. The absolute chakram ladder sending Sgrape up all the way to the top of Miami Dome there. Sgrape, though, Scythe in hand. See if he's going to be able to get done with it completely even. Ooh, he threw that signature out there, giving Fry just a big, huge bullseye to be able to roll up underneath, put some damage on him. We see Sgrape getting a good extension off that side string there, and another dare, but did it again. Put himself in the perfect position for Fry to be able to hit that Sayer on him and send him almost out of here.
And just like that, I mean, we watched Sgrape start with a pretty healthy lead, and this time he gets caught, right? We see hits him with the recovery, chases him to the side, says, I have another one in there, and that's enough to give FryDasOle the lead here. Sgrape had such a lead in this game 5, but he doesn't know how to find the openings. Fry's not making it easy, and these platforms are doing Sgrape no favors. He tries to go for a weapon throw to the down sig, that's not going to work, right? And I mean, all things considered, I said you have to be able to just send it, and he does do that with that ground pound, but that's only after trying a couple of other things that did not work, right? He went for a read with the Scythe earlier to that side sig. If it connected, that would have been the stock. Then he tries to go for the weapon throw to the gravity cancel down sig. Doesn't work, but he's trying to get the stock. So now you can see that, he has that bite in him. Is it a little too late now?
I mean, we talked about the advantage of Small Fortress was giving Fry because of that one-soft platform, but now he has two that are even in a better position for him because they're higher up on the stage. Being able to reset those options is he is now in a very, very good position against Sgrape. It is so hard to come back against Chakrams, especially in a high-stress situation like this where Fry is looking like absolute poetry in motion on these Chakrams right now, and that is going to get it done, taking them all the way to the stratosphere, to the knockout zone, and Fry is going to be moving forward to take on a Godly in the winners finals.
Yeah, that was tough. Because if you're Sgrape here, right, the moment you start at a deficit, it's just not the same. If you're the Chakram player, if you hit someone once, if you hit them with a sidelight, you get a guaranteed follow-up, right? Whether you go for